Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to serve you a nice review of The Bear Season 3. And as always, I have here with me the bear himself, Ramon.
Hey guys.
I
I don't know how to imitate a bear. I don't know how to imitate a bear though. I'm like, oh hey.
Our 5-star Michelin cook, Sylvia.
Hello.
And Rose back from fighting Musan in the Infinity Castle. How you doing, Rose? You won that fight or what happened?
No, I'm kind of like Kafka now that I'm part monster demon and part human.
Bear, a lot of people love it. So I'm really happy to be here and just to talk about this. And obviously now we have Sylvia, which, she's not only going to talk about season 3, but just tell us overall her whole opinion of the first, second season, what she thinks about it. But before we do that, let's talk about what we've been watching. Sylvia, I'm going to go to you first because for almost a month, I've been thinking about your Game of Thrones review.
I know.
For the first season, so if you can start us off with that.
Yeah, so I finished the first season. I haven't gotten into the second season yet. I was shocked at the ending, I want to say, for the first season, because if I do remember, it's been such a long time too now, but if I remember correctly, Ned was killed, and yeah. I did not think that was going to happen at all. I thought he was going to at least be here for like the next 2 or 3 seasons. I feel like he was put into the show so like he was important, I guess, in a sense, to where I thought we needed him to kind of help John also reach some more goals in his life. And then just his ending and how his daughter just saw it, and then his other daughter was collected by and everyone keeps referring to her as a boy, which I don't know why. She very much looks like a girl, but her seeing that still, and then the guy just pulling her away and saying, like, this is how you're going to act right now. Like, this is your life. Meanwhile, her other sister is just seeing this crying, and she knows that her husband did this. And, I can't imagine what she was going through. So I was shocked at that part. That whole ending just had me with my mouth open, and I did not think that was going to happen at all.
Honestly, that was probably the dumb move from Jeffrey, because obviously that story was going to go, he was going to like be loyal to the blacks, or what is it when you go to the wall? What are they called?
Oh yeah, the crows.
The crows. So I'm like, Ned Stark wouldn't have even been able to do anything. But yeah, that was shocking. I remember, especially because I remember when you told us you were talking about it, I kind of led you to believe that Ned Stark was going to be part of the show for many seasons.
For a little bit, yeah. And then John, too, I was surprised that they didn't put him in with everybody else. Instead, they made him, like the squire to the other guy, instead of like actually having him go. And he was one of their best fighters, too. So I thought that was interesting, but I'm sure that there's a reason for that.
That was season 1?
That was season 1, yeah.
I thought that was later.
No, he jumped right away. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see kind of where that takes him to, because there had to have been a reason. There would have had to be some planning, but Ned
he's like
dying,
the scribe or something, right? Like kind of like a secretary or attendant or something.
Yep. But Ned dying, I did not think that at all. So that definitely shocked me.
Well, now you learned your lesson. Don't love anyone.
The best scene, though, was when, I forget her name, Khaleesi, is it?
Yeah.
When she just walked into the fire, and she got up, and she had the 3 dragons in her hands. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was so powerful. Just her face when she got up, the way she even walked in, and it looked like everyone kind of knew at that point what was going on. No one stopped her. And then in the morning, everyone just waking up and bowing down to her. That was amazing.
Were you surprised when Jason Momoa's character also died?
No, I felt like he was going to die soon. I felt like his character didn't have much progression in him that much in the first season. It seemed like they finally resolved their issue that they were having. I kind of assumed that he was probably gonna leave soon enough.
What about when he killed Viserys, her brother? Was that a shock? Sorry, I'm just like thinking.
Oh no, he deserved that. He deserved that.
We might have talked about that. Yeah, okay.
100%, he deserved it. The way he did it too, so there was no blood that was shed, because they couldn't on their land or whatever it was, so they just put the metal on his face, and that killed. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
And she was gold, just sitting there like, was it? I thought it was like silver or something. Maybe it was gold. Yeah. But them doing it that way, so that way no blood was shed.
So
amazing.
And you've been keeping up with also House of the Dragons, right? Like you're up currently on the current season, or you're still in the previous season?
No, I think I'm only on the second or third episode of House of Dragon. I paused those a little bit because I did want to finish Kaiju, which we did last week, even though I wasn't here. And then I'm almost done with Demon Slayer now. I think I have a few more episodes.
Nice.
Amazing. Love Demon Slayer.
How far? What season?
I don't know if this is season 4 because it has it very weird listed on Crunchyroll. This is where Nezuko now is no longer, or like she can go out into the sunlight now.
Okay.
Like
So the Hashira training arc.
Yes. Yep. That one. Yeah.
Sorry, so this is kind of crazy because now we get to talk to you about all these like characters dying. But how did you feel about Rengoku dying when you were watching Demon Slayer?
You gotta tell me his hairstyle.
He's the fire guy.
I cried. Actually cried. Like he did it was so pointless too. He got away from him at the end.
What speed did you watch it in though?
Two time. Always 2 time.
I said not to watch the Mugen Train arc in like.
But I look. It didn't change what I felt. I still cried. I couldn't. Like the very end, he already knew he was dying and just still going in and fighting to save them. Oh my god.
It's so crazy how a character that you don't see for that much, you get to know really a lot, can leave such an impact on you. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy. It's insane. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so sad. That one, and I did almost cry when I thought Nezuko was dying at the one point when it was like full sun and then she kicked him out to like go save the other people, and then she had all those burns. I started tearing up with that too.
I actually have a story with that too. So I was watching it, and then my son was around. So my son, he hasn't seen Demon Slayer yet. He knows of it because he's seen me watch it. So I was watching that episode like when it came out, and then like he was just sitting on the couch, and then he just started crying, and I was like, oh, I felt so bad. It was like, but you don't even understand what's happening.
But what she did was just such a sacrifice, and then she was okay, and then she went up to him and she said, Tanjiro, thank goodness, or whatever, and I started bawling again. It was so cute.
Yeah, I think my story is that like I went to go see the Mugen Train, which is the arc with Rengoku, the Flame Hashira, and none of us were expecting for him to none of us had read the manga, none of us knew what was going to happen. That whole third act was like a twist, sort of. And here I am in the movie theater, probably like 34, 35, whenever it came out. And me and my 2 other buddies, we were crying, and like none of us could look at each other because we didn't understand what, we knew why we were crying, but it was just like such an impactful moment. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever cried like with my friends in any other situation than that.
His whole speech, and then letting us know how his dad was, and he still was such a sweet person. Oh man. So yeah, watching that, and then I did finish up The Bear, and then I think I only have like a few. I'm halfway through the season 4 of The Boys, also 2 times speech. So I did a lot of work.
Did you do anything else besides watch?
I was working and I was watching the whole time.
That's funny. Well, Ramon, I know you kind of like, you're the resident House of the Dragons right now. Other than that, the 5th episode, which I haven't seen, how are you liking it? You're still on board? Obviously, the 4th episode was like a big one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still on board. I think, like I said before, it's like now that you're introducing the dragons and more of that crazy story that's going on, it's what we've been waiting for. But, like any like Game of Thrones story, it's just all the mix drama that's going on. And yeah, it's still pretty good, man. Like, I'm still like, I know basically what's going to happen because we've been told in Game of Thrones, but it's like, I'm still watching and like, I don't know what's going on. And it's just really, really enjoyable. So that's definitely been number 1. The Boys, sadly, I haven't finished the most recent episode.
I know,
so I'm like 10 minutes away. I just ran out of time. But other than that, I mean, great episode, Carlos. I know what you were talking about.
Oh, so you kind of did start it.
Yeah, I had to stop it, and it did suck to stop it. But kind of weird with everything that's going on in our political climate right now. But we won't talk about that. It's just really strange, really, really strange. Just the fact that they even had to put a disclaimer in the beginning of the episode, just how fucking weird and close it is. So
they changed the name of the episode. You know that
they changed, that it went from whatever the attempted thing to the other, like just finale, right, or something like that. So dumb. No, I actually been watching more of My Hero Academia, so I'm like pretty at the third season now. Like now we're kind of dealing. Oh, I met One for All, like the villain, which I think is
All for One.
All for One. Yes, there you go. Which I'm afraid of the whole. It could possibly be Deku's dad, but yeah, I'm just always thinking like that kind of stuff because that's what every anime does. It's like, oh, the big bad guy, that's his dad.
Mhm.
And no, like other than that, which that's been a trip. Like it's been enjoyable. I'm glad I'm watching more of it. But the only other thing worth noting, I did watch that movie If with Ryan Reynolds, like Imaginary Friend.
I watched it here and there.
Yeah, you
too.
said you watched it. Yeah, I mean.
I could tell there was good moments that I should have probably been paying attention to.
It's a cute story. I feel like it's a movie to watch, like for you, Carlos. I watch with your daughter, and like watch with the kid.
You didn't really care for it, man. So that made me not care for it.
Well, I was about to say when they're a little bit older, I was thinking like maybe if they are like around that preteen age, maybe it's like it's the whole idea of like remembering that you were a kid once. But I'm like 12 years old is too quick to forget. So the whole premise of the story was a little, but it was a cute movie. It just didn't do much for me. But, watching Ryan Reynolds, hearing the star cast, like all the voice actors, like freaking Steve Carell. Like, I mean, it was like numerous. I'm not going to get going, but it was just like a lot of people that I was shocked. George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was the imaginary friend that they kept on tripping on, and they never showed him, and he never talked.
Like Deadpool?
Yeah.
That's funny.
They were like, Keith, damn it. And then it was just like, you never saw Keith. And then the credits, it was like Brad Pitt, and I'm like, what?
That's funny.
Kind of like in Deadpool too, because he was the invisible guy.
Yeah.
Did I get a glimpse of him though?
Have any of you watched Monkey Man by any chance? Because I know that's
Not
one.
Like I've been wanting to watch it.
I
don't like watching movies by myself.
Well, I don't know if it's subtitles the whole thing, but it does start off with subtitles, and I wanted to give it my full attention, so I haven't played it because I want to be sitting and watching it and paying attention to it.
Let me know how you like it, because I obviously heard good things, so hopefully.
No, there's so many movies I want to watch.
Yeah, with House of the Dragon, I'm kind of like you mentioned it on the last episode, Ramon, but because I read the book, I think that's what sort of doesn't make me excited, like knowing kind of like where things are going or what's gonna happen, because I already have an idea. And then, they did mention that those dragons were Daenerys' eggs, sorry, the dragon eggs. And I remember in the book, and I haven't looked it up, but I remember in the book those weren't it. But I think they're just establishing like in the in the show those are her eggs.
Yeah,
so cool.
It's weird. It is weird that like Game of Thrones spoiled it for the prequel. It's like what?
Yeah.
It's just it's a funny concept, but it's still really, I don't know, I still really enjoy it, but I definitely get you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of makes me remember the names of the Targaryen people just because they all name their kids the same damn thing over and over. So like now I do know Viserys, where before I wouldn't even have known. Like Viserys, what? Who is that? What name is that? But
so there's like 3 Viserys. I'm like, okay.
Or Aegon, so many Aegons.
Aemon, Aegon,
Rhaenys.
You send those ideas to George Armani or George
R. Oh my god.
Yeah. Ro, what have you been? I mean, it's been a while since I feel like I talked to you. What have you been doing?
I've been watching all the weekly stuff. I finished Kaiju number 8. That I didn't end up, but thanks to the demons. Yeah, and then and I've actually been watching with my son. We have one episode more for the season finale to watch for Kaiju number 8. So nice. We paused Haikyuu. So now we haven't finished Haikyuu, Blue Lock, Shippuden, My Hero, and we're about to finish Kaiju number 8.
Oh, nice, man.
But yeah, and then blew through Vikings Valhalla this week.
Damn, you too.
Well, the most recent season.
Okay.
But because I love that show. But I used to watch the OG Viking show when it was on History Channel. But yeah, that's a really cool show. And I've been watching the. So I'm also a sports fan, so I've been watching the Hard Knocks, with the Giants, and then the Receivers show.
Yeah, dude, I gotta
Netflix.
I gotta get a list from you on things to watch because I think I ran out. I don't have anything. I started watching the first episode of I Got Reincarnated as a Sword just to because I heard something positive about it. Yeah, so I want to see if it's actually maybe worth talking to you guys about. But yeah, I just started
because the weekly stuff I'm My Hero. I'm looking forward to this weekend that because last weekend there was no episode, and then Code. Dude, I still can't get I've watched Code Geass, all of them, and it's kind of interesting, but I can't get onto that. I have a question though. Are we ever gonna do an episode on Acolyte, the Star Wars show?
I don't. Well, okay, so that's the one I wanted to talk about as far as like I've been watching a lot of things, Code Geass, a lot of shows just been ending since the last episode. But the Acolyte was the one that ended yesterday, and all I want to say about it is like the fighting is great. People are complaining that it's too Matrix, it's too much kung fu, too much like hidden. What is it? Hidden Tiger or whatever.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, they're complaining about it. It's like, dude, you guys idiots. Like, this is great. The fighting is awesome. It's been
They're
the
Jedi.
best. Yeah, the best Star Wars fighting that I've seen in a long time as far as like any of the movie trilogies and stuff like that. But overall, man, I think just the writing itself is kind of trashy, Ro. It's just so trashy, and I don't know if I can put you guys through that. I think it's great for somebody that's starting to watch Star Wars. Like, if somebody's like, hey, this is going to be your first Star Wars thing. Like, I think it's like something great for them to like follow and kind of get into the world. But for us, people that have seen it, I feel like it's a little bit like Ramon. I mean, I know you've dropped off of some shows that you just, you're like, this is not for me. But I recommend it. Go watch episode 5. I still recommend watching episode 5. And if you want to watch maybe the last episode, even though you won't really understand what's happening. But
dude, honestly, I think the side characters are the best thing because I love the cast. Like all the side, like Soul, all the other Jedis, especially freaking.
I wish I could spoil things. I wish I could talk spoilers, but yeah.
Especially Daphne Keene's character. I forgot her character's name. The Padawan.
Yeah,
dude, I love all them, all those characters, and it sucks that like the best part of the show is like Manny Jacinto, and then Soul and like all those Jedis, and not really May and her sister, which is kind of the main characters, but they're fine. But all the side characters are way better. I would love to follow them.
Dude, on the last episode, there was a line that was said that, again, in all my years watching Star Wars, like I never thought about this, and like I'm like, why did they put that line in Star Wars in the show? But it was like, one of the characters, Ramon and Sylvia, was like, I'll see you in hell. And I'm like, in all my time watching Star Wars, like I never even thought about them. Like, do they believe in hell? Do they believe in, especially because it's like futuristic, and I just wouldn't think that if there are religions, they would just be like kind of weird and different. And like,
who says that?
One of the twins, as she was going away from, she was going into the skate pod. She said that to him. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'll see you in hell.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I've never ever I've heard anybody talk about like hell or heaven. So that just kind of like, again, I don't know. It just made me think about like,
I'll see you in the Force.
I don't know. I just really thought that line just didn't belong there. And again, it just kind of tells me that the writing it needs to be better, man.
I'll see you in the black hole.
There's gonna be a second season.
I like that one, Ro. I'll see you in a black hole.
Black hole.
Yeah.
But that makes sense though. That's a good thing to like kind of associate it to. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I will be back to any of those Star Wars shows besides Andor that I do still plan to watch.
Yeah,
it's the best one.
Other than that, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It's just it sucks that it has losing us confidence that if they do the next movie that comes out, I don't know. It won't be an immediate.
Yeah. So were you at all like a Star Wars kind of like anything?
I watched the originals. Okay. Yeah. But okay. I haven't watched any of the other. What was the other one, like Mandalorian, or was it? Or
I haven't watched that.
Especially. Do you know what
Grogu?
Oh.
Do you know what a Grogu is by any chance? A Kylo
Maybe.
Ren?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I watched I watched all of the movies, and the last one that I saw was the newer one with, I forget names, but it was the, oh my god.
Rey and Finn, Kylo Ren.
Yeah, the guy, that actor that like is very handsome, but he also has like the big, you know what I mean? Yeah. That was the last one that I watched though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of watching the prequels, you could just watch the first 5 minutes of Obi-Wan and you'll be good.
Okay.
That's true.
I don't want to like not give that like correct. I think it was better than like Obi-Wan for sure, but it's just it's not better. I actually think I like Ahsoka a lot better for like what was happening in that show better than.
I think I like Acolyte better than Ahsoka.
You like the
you guys give me no confidence to watch any of these.
I never saw Rebels or Clone Wars or any of the animated shows, and you did. So you have a different tie-in to Ahsoka where
But I think you like the accolade for the fighting, which again, I'm not gonna take that away from it. I think the fighting
And the
world-
characters.
I
think the writing
I
was
was
bad.
promised a lightsaber whip in my accolade show from the trailer.
Which
And did I
makes
get
no
a
sense.
and did I
Makes
get
no
a
sense.
lightsaber whip? I did not. I got the same freaking scene that they showed in the
You
trailer.
took the lightsaber whip.
It was the same scene that they had shown in the trailer, so I didn't get
Yeah.
a lightsaber whip because I never got to see more of it. So if you're gonna tell me we're gonna introduce a lightsaber whip, and this is a shot of the lightsaber whip, and I'm gonna get excited for the lightsaber whip, I better get some freaking lightsaber whip, and I didn't get any lightsaber whip.
You did. You just didn't get any additional lightsaber
No,
whip.
the dude knows. So it's like just that
you know
alone.
how you know how bad that sucks. That's like watching a trailer, getting to the movie, and seeing nothing new. You're like, wait, I saw all the best things on the trailer. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's just no, I get it, but that lightsaber whip never enticed me because it's not practical. I was like, how are they gonna make
That's
it?
what I wanted
that
to
is
see.
true.
I was
I wanted
waiting for like
graphics.
online reviews and stuff. I was waiting for people online to like talk shit about it.
Yes,
Like,
Ramon.
how
How
does
does
that
it
make sense?
work? How does it fall? How does it like? I didn't get to see any of it, so I don't know how it works.
You guys talking about it makes me think of Demon Slayer while she has that sword that is like
Yes.
kind of like the way. That's what I was
Right.
thinking.
We've
Yeah.
talked about that. We talked about it before because we're like, how does this fucking sword work like a ribbon? Like, and then we did the whole Will
Yeah.
Ferrell like freaking ribbon dance. Like,
Yeah, I did.
It was a TikTok, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. I did get to see how a lightsaber turns red, and that was really cool. I will say that too.
So canon wise, that's not really how they get red kyber crystals.
But in Legends, I guess that has been told in
maybe.
those stories. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because supposedly they get red kyber crystals because they can't get real ones, so they make synthetic ones, which is why they're red.
But I guess in Legends, it's been like they've
maybe
been
I haven't
led like that,
yet.
so it's just.
I haven't read Legends.
And I feel
Yeah.
like that's where the good stuff is coming from Legends. So keep getting stuff from like.
Dude,
from
They're
Legends.
throwing in a bunch of legend stuff.
I
Yeah.
can tell you guys did not love this season of The Bear.
No, dude, this
Oh,
stuff
I mean, but let's be honest though, because in the other seasons, like we spent like an hour and 20 minutes per episode. This one's gonna be like
Yeah.
half an hour.
I
Done.
just figure now that there's 4 of us, all of our episodes are always going to be like 115,
Yeah.
130. So I'm like, yeah. So, and I don't want people to just come in for the Bear and leave. I want them to like, hear what we've
mean,
been
They get
doing
to
and
know
stuff.
us.
Get
I
to know
mean-
us,
And then
yeah.
complain about our opinions.
Yeah. Hey, next Comic Con we'll have the 3 of us will have normal lightsabers, and we'll give Carlos a little rip.
The whip,
There you go.
the whip lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, but no. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's talk about the Bears season 3. Highly anticipated. Again, I am glad it came. But obviously we're gonna have a discussion about how it went, how things went in that season. But Ramon, do you want to be the one to start us off on it?
I can. Yeah, I
Yeah.
naturally wanted to stick Sylvia in the front, be like, tell me about all your Bear experiences. But no, I
Talking
mean,
about season 1 and 2 and
Good.
not 3.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I mean, I think maybe it'll just get us to the right mood because, I love the show. I mean, most of us, I'm sure, love the show. But I think it's fair to say that this season we can be a little more critical, and not because it's not like great, but I think it definitely had a different pace. Like, it had a different pace than season 1, where we were put into this world, we were understanding the characters, we were understanding what they were about, what they were trying to build. Then season 2, obviously, it was chaos, craziness, all this stuff. This season was definitely more of like that resolve, like not the calm before I guess maybe the calm before the real storm, but it just seemed like, again, tranquil, but things were still in disorder, right? Carmy was putting himself back together. Like you were dealing with Sid with the whole contemplating whether she was going to stay or not. Like there was so many good things.
Cousin. Yeah.
Cousin. Yeah. You had Natalie giving birth, which was a beautiful, like all this
Oh
stuff. There was
my God.
wait till
we'll
we
get
talk
to
about that later, because obviously my wife is pregnant right now, so it's a little crazy. But no, I enjoyed it. I could just felt the whole time that I was looking for the next season already, because I know in the next season we'll get probably more resolution about Claire Bear, who I'm just waiting to have. That's all I care about.
Oh
It's
my
what
God.
happens with Carmy and Claire Bear. No, and I do want to see them kind of regain that like harmony again. I want to see them like function as like freaking awesome team and just kind of achieve their dreams. But yeah, the way that this season went is making me think that season 4 is going to be the final season, because if they do this to me again, I will strangle it. It's such a great show that I don't think they would dare to do that 2 seasons in a row. So yeah, I mean, again, critical about it. Still really enjoyed it, but yeah,
Damn, dude.
a lot
And
of
I'm
minor.
And I'm looking
Yeah.
it up right now, and I guess it was like 10 episodes for this season. And I'm like, man, I'll be lucky to remember 4 of the episodes. But Ro, what did you think about season 3? You obviously were a big champion for it too, so.
Yeah, dude, I love the show. It's probably the only stressful show that I'll watch because like it's so exciting in the like in because it doesn't have action. It's just a very intense show because everyone is so like intense in general because it's the kitchen and everything's so chaotic and people have strong emotions, especially Carmy and Cousin like yelling at each other all the time, and then you just have like the whole cast and I this is probably the best character development of like any show almost because you cared so deeply about every single character and they take their time, especially that first episode. It was like honestly I thought it was beautiful. There was like not a lot of talking, there was not a lot going on, but just all the shots. And I don't know, it felt kind of like an artistic thing that they did, that they kind of just put together like a short film kind of thing
collage
for
of memories.
Yeah, and then kind of like all these different, like, kind of like a montage, and I don't know, I thought it was like really beautiful, and it was a very interesting way to start considering all the chaos of the last episode of the last season, and then it kind of just starts into this mellow Zen garden kind of thing of like memories and all this stuff, and then it kind of ascends into chaos again right after that first episode. But yeah, like it was an interesting season. I really liked it. I thought the last season was better, but I still enjoyed this one a lot.
I mean, I liked the first episode a lot because I think in our review of the last season, I complained how like I wish I knew how Carmy got to be Carmy and be so good. And the first episode sort of did that. It gave you like his backstory, so I really appreciated that about it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, what did you think about The Bear overall? I mean, you're giving us your full first, second, and third season reviews all at once.
Yeah. So the first season, I loved it. It was amazing. It was so stressful. And I think I mentioned before that the first 2 episodes I watched during work where I'm already stressed out. And then I was watching it and I was even more stressed out. But it's like Raul said, though, I don't like being stressed out with shows that I watch, but I love this one. And it's just because it keeps it so fast paced. And everyone knows that I like to watch things at 2 times speed. I didn't watch all of these episodes in 2 times speed because it just kept me like thinking, and I wanted to see the full reaction of it. So there were a good amount of episodes where it was regular speed and I was enjoying it. So that's a big compliment for me. But the first season, I was so anxious and I loved it. I loved that anxiety part of it. And then the second season was also good, but I felt like the second season was more of like that resolution of, okay, now they have the funds, they're going to rebuild. This is kind of like a repairing arc almost. The third season, I'm sorry, I did not like the first episode. I was so confused with it going back and forth. I didn't know where we were for the longest time until like 3/4 through the episode where I just kind of like let it go. And I'm like, all right, we're in the past and we're in the present. We're just going back and forth between the two. I don't know why it confused me so much. Maybe because I watched it all in a row instead of having that break.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just, I finished season 2 and I went right to season 3 and I didn't stop. So to me, it just felt like it was just continuing and there wasn't much talking. Which the other ones, they're just screaming at each other.
Yeah,
so to me, I was a little bit confused. But overall, I did like the third season. My favorite episode, though, was Tina's episode. I liked learning her background.
Wow. Okay.
Because I didn't like her character. I didn't like her character in the season 1. Season 2, she kind of was growing on me. But, there was still some kinks with her character that when I saw her background or like how she came to be where she is, I fell in love with her character.
Can I ask you something about that episode? Because I think you're going to be the one that's going to be able to answer it. Do you think it's possible? Because I think they established that she was working in whatever company for 25 years and then she got let go. Do you think it's possible to live in Chicago for 25 years and not know what an Italian beef is? Do you think that's possible?
We were concerned.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it was just like I was. Like, somebody pointed out too. I'm
all
not
the Bonas and Portillos. I don't know if
Portillo especially. That's like so mass chain.
Yeah, because I feel like I've been here, for whatever long in this country, and like even since a kid, like I've known what an Italian beef is. Whether it's coming from Portillo's.
I didn't. I didn't know what it was until he
Wait,
said
for real?
it was like the French whatever dip or whatever. That's when I realized what it was, but I had no clue. No.
Oh wow!
You have to
Ah.
have
But I'm
one. They're
But
awesome.
again, you weren't living in Chicago for 25
Right.
years, so
But
yeah.
then it makes me think maybe she's just someone of habit, because I know a few people where it's just they get the same breakfast every day, they have the same lunch every day, they have the
Yeah.
same dinner every day. Basically, their whole routine is the same and consistent. So if she was working somewhere for 25 years, she was just probably a creature of habit, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching it, like me and my wife had that question, and then my thing was like, you know, especially like us being Mexican, when we first got to the United States, like, tell me how much white food we ate, like hardly, and like not a lot of American, like, you know, besides like fast food, it was all mostly like things that we even recognize because of the advertising, and burgers were in Mexico anyway, so it's like you know those things. But then if you really think about it, it's like, you know, because maybe, you know, her being Puerto Rican or whatever she's in the show, like maybe that's what it is with her. It's just like stuck to those like basic familiar things and doesn't really go out of her comfort zone outside of like a burger or something like that, you know? So that's an answer.
Like if you
It's
ever
interesting you say that. I don't think I had, when we first came here from Poland, I don't think I had McDonald's even until I was like 13, 14. I had no idea. I think I was like in 8th grade or just in high school, because like you said, we just ate the food that we were used to. Of course I saw like my friends eating every, you know, burgers and stuff, but it's not that typical in Polish culture.
I blame that on the lack of 90s advertisement, because if you would have been living in the 90s, you would have been like, McDonald's, I need it, and Burger King.
But language though, my parents weren't able to order because they couldn't say the word. They didn't know, they couldn't read.
Still,
yeah.
Ramon, I thought you were gonna say you blame it on 9/11.
Not at all. But you know what I mean. Like I think I remember like TV and commercials is the reason why we knew certain places that we would be like, we would be interested enough or intrigued enough that we would ask our parents like, hey, where is there a Wendy's like years later, you know, or where's this? But other than that,
Where's
like
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
To this day, we never had Wendy's actually.
You're like on the wrong. You're on the wrong side of the Midwest. You know, you're on the wrong side of the Midwest. You know, like, we're in the bad part of the Midwest. We got all this.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably
gonna have it around. I've never gone there. I think I've just gone to like, I didn't grow up with fast food places, so to me it's.
You guys have a Portillo's at all? Like now that they've expanded? No. Once they do, you will see that thing.
Are they expanded out of Chicagoland?
Yeah, they got like corporate owned by like a bigger corporation, and they've been expanding all over the country.
It's not the Portillo's family anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not anymore. But once you get a Portillo's, you will see that thing packed from morning to like 11 p.m. Always a line.
The line is always going to be so long.
I feel like there's Chick-fil-A and Popeyes here.
We got those.
Yeah,
but, even more than Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's crazy. But next time you're around, just stop by one.
Well, I'm the psychopath that likes my hot dog with ketchup, tomato, and sport peppers only. So
gotta eat them like this. Can you see it? Let me get that right. Chicago dog all the way.
I prefer a Maxwell Polish.
Oh, that's delicious.
In the city, did you already come, or you're still planning on being here in a few weeks?
To Chicago?
Yeah.
So my next, or this month actually, for what is it? Oh my god, it's leaving my brain right now. Things with the stars. It's not the museum. It's not SeaWorld.
The planetarium.
The planetarium. There we go. Thank you.
The thing with the stars.
The thing with the stars. It's not an aquarium. It's not a museum.
Hollywood. No.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I think I might be going within the next like 2 or 3 weeks for that.
Huh. Okay, well you gotta definitely hit up a Portillo's because there's one in the city for sure. But yeah,
or go to the original beef in Chicago.
Yeah,
yeah,
100. Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually,
and then you can go to the original Maxwell Street.
Oh yeah, for the
Maxwell's.
Yeah, and then we'll meet you up for some Giordano's deep dish pizza.
Gino's, man. Gino's. I mean, it's not the best deep dish in Chicago, but it's just where my dad worked in the 80s.
Oh,
so I'm always like really attached to it. Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm attached to it. I'm like Gino's East. Yeah.
All right.
I'll have to let you guys know and just give me a list of everything I need to hit up.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Taqueria Jalisco Sinaloa. Let's go.
No.
They'll come out.
Well,
No,
no,
don't go to Kamales.
let's get back to the review. But I mean, for me, this is gonna be a weird year for me as far as like some of the shows that have come back for like whatever fifth, fourth, third season. Because I think a lot of the shows, man, including this one, they've sort of have them disappointed me in a way where like the past season, the last season was so great that this season just has not lived up to it. And I'm talking about like Demon Slayer, you got The Bear, you got The Boys, you got like there's a lot of other shows that I just thought about like this season for whatever the reason, like the season hasn't been as strong as other past seasons. I do want to say that I think The Bear, I want to give it a pass because I feel like they struggled because of the writer's strike that was happening last year. And that's what I think I was telling Ramon. There was a writer's strike, and I feel like that might be the reason why some of the episodes aren't as polished as I think they could have been. And I mean, they're good enough to be on TV and good enough for them to be like episodes themselves, but I feel like something about it was missing. There was like a certain spice, a certain like pepper, something about it to make it a little bit more juicy. And I just, as much as like I had this burger sitting in front of me that I just wanted to take a bite out of it and like finish it, I just couldn't. I couldn't because something about it was just like, it's like all of a sudden, like I think I found a pickle in my burger, so like I'm spitting it out, and it's just like, again, I just don't think this season was as great as it could have been. I didn't like the ending of it. I think it's obviously. I think I have high expectations for the next season because I do feel like they're gonna maybe kind of come up with a more reasonable problem. Like the way I see it happening in the next season is if they don't get like a good review, like I'm gonna be out of the show because I don't want them to fail. Like I want them to get like a good 5-star review or 1-star, whatever the rating
You mean
is.
a Michelin star?
Michelin stars.
Well, no, because they're doing it's just the Chicago Tribune that's
Oh,
giving
the
them
Chicago Tribune
yeah
review.
I just want that review to be positive because I want to see this show from that perspective, like be positive. And me and Ramon, we talked about like how we're so used to the character that plays Carmen because we used to watch Shameless. And the thing that I didn't like about Shameless is that they always made his character never succeed, always fail. And he was always supposed to be like the smartest one, the one that was supposed to like get the whole family out of the whatever they lived and stuff to success. And like that never happened. So like I'm not really ready to see him fail again in another show where I think the show should go in a direction where it's like, let's see how life looks now that he's successful. And that's
you know, it's funny because so I saw Iron Claw too, and kind of like the same thing happened during that movie where like he did really well, but then he like threw it all away because he was an idiot.
I saw the guy he was supposed to like be representing, and like they shouldn't have cast him because those brothers were supposed to be like really tall, and like he's just like the shortest guy.
Hey, Zac Efron too. He's like 5'9". They were all short.
Yeah,
he got so swole.
Mm-hmm. He was overly buff for the role. I'm like, damn, boy. Like that's how
I thought he was awesome.
No, that's a great
in
movie.
the role too. Yeah,
that's another fucking sad movie. No, Carlos, like I agree with you, but I think like for the and to justify the last episode because it was the funeral service, right? Like the dinner for that restaurant that was closing. I think the biggest point of that episode and what I liked about like the potential for the next season, and not like the whole entirety what I'm guessing the next season will be about, but it was that whole confrontation with this fucking chef, like teacher, like Joe McHale, like because
oh my God.
because this season I felt like was a lot of like reflection, a lot of like coping, a lot of like these like more intimate stories, and then Carmen really dealing with the whole idea of like how can I be a better person? But he doesn't know he needs to be a better person. He thinks he's being the better person by setting up these non-negotiables, by being like more hardcore, by having these like crazy expectations. And then at the end, you're confronted by the biggest stick that you like associate like all your stress and your fucking like angst too. But at the same time, he's crediting himself for making you like the badass you are. So I think season 4 is probably going to be him being like, I'm fucking like this dick. Like, I don't want to be like him. And then I think that's where at least Carmy will show that progression. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right when there'll be like a little bit, hopefully it's not a bad review that you start with, but maybe the personal growth would be good.
It just kind of reminded me of like Whiplash, and like Whiplash is the same concept. Like you're trying to build the greatest whatever jazz band, and like the way you do it is by almost torturing them to a point where it's like almost if they're not killing themselves, they're just like
almost torturing them.
Yeah, I mean,
torture.
Yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things. Like I mean, even we talked before the recording that it's just like sometimes the way I am at work is because I've had shitty bosses that are very strict, are very like over your shoulder, and as much as I try to fight that personality of me being at work, like sometimes it does kind of represent like who I am today, and it kind of does make me a little bit successful at work. So I could see how, again, it kind of sucks because you don't want to have those scars. I don't want to be thinking about prior bosses that I've had 10, 15 years ago, but I still do. So I do feel like what Carmen feels, and it's just because of the fact that whether you want to admit it or not, these people sort of did make you who you are today, and in a way, he did probably make him that successful as a chef, even though like he doesn't want to admit it. So yeah, Ramon, I think he has to confront himself on that.
So that's the one thing that came good out of that episode. That's what I'm excited for, but we'll see. Fucking review.
Dude, and it was cool. I don't know if you guys ever watch like cooking shows or anything like that or follow the culinary world. But yeah, it was cool seeing some of the actual like real life celebrity chefs. And stuff like that, like Christina Tosi and I don't know anybody else's name. She's the only one because I used to watch MasterChef.
Yeah, and like, but it was good because like it was like I think the chef that was like he was having that flashback of the chef that was training him and teaching him and all this stuff. Like that was also like I forget his name as well, but he's also a super well known, renowned chef, and it's beautiful to hear them. And I could only imagine how like privileged they must have felt to like actually not just play the role, but they're playing themselves. And then this whole idea of like, you know, the reason why this show is so appealing is because it should be very prestigious to be this world-renowned chef, or not even a world-renowned chef. They cook me something amazing and I would still be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, you're awesome for doing this, because that's what, like, especially that last episode drove, that they're doing it for the people and the people that they serve. And I don't know. I mean, we skipped to the end, but I think that's one of the things that it's like, it's so good about, even like you were saying, Carlos, like you have to learn from these terrible fucking dumb mistakes and terrible people sometimes. And, you know, I get to be the boss most of the time. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure like I relate to Carmy for so many reasons for that, because I'm the one that runs my store. So it's like, if I'm not setting the tempo, like if I'm doing something wrong, I feel like a dick.
Dude, and I don't know.
Do you have non-negotiables too?
Yeah, fuck yeah, 100%. What kind of boss does it?
Ramon, and I always think about like what I would say to them if I saw them, like, because obviously I think they would say hi to me a normal, because they don't know that I went through this stuff. They would just like, would I be like just play along and say like, oh hi, how are you doing, or would I actually say like, hey, you made my life a living hell, I actually reported you to HR after you left and all this stuff, or you know, it's just kind of like it's crazy, man. Like, you know, you have to like think about those kind of things, and I do think about it, and you know, because if you're in an industry, more than likely you'll be seeing those people possibly again one day.
Yeah. See, then you made me cringe, because then I think of like probably the worst boss that I've had. It's the same idea of like, if I ever was in front of him, well, I don't know. Even right now, I'm like, oh, time out. I'll be back.
Yeah. I would just ignore. I don't deal with it. I would just walk away. But Sydney, I kind of want her to leave the restaurant.
Oh my God.
Did you feel like that from season one? Did you feel like that from season one, though?
No.
Really?
No, I actually like her, and I feel like she would do better under someone else.
Oh, okay.
But she wouldn't be under somebody else. If she leaves, she'd be like the head chef.
The head chef,
Yeah, the other guy, he doesn't want to be like, he's a suit to that lady, but he's not going to be the head chef. He's just going to run the restaurant.
I hate the fact that she wouldn't sign like the paperwork, or they wouldn't even like, they would just be like, oh no, like they kept saying it. They never sat her down and be like, hey, you got to sign this, even though
I would have done the same thing she did, because it just reminds me of where I'm at with work too. And it's like, yes, I appreciate that I'm here, but at the same time, it's like there's something needs to be better. And I can't physically. I totally got her from that perspective. That's why I'm saying I almost don't want her in the restaurant the next season. I want her to be the head chef in the other restaurant.
But did her success happen too quick? Because again, when we start season one, she's like, you know, her past business failed. She's coming purposely to work for him so she can learn from him. And all of a sudden now there's success, and now she's like, oh well, I have success, and people are sort of understanding who I am or recognizing my name. Is that like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's enough for her to all of a sudden say like, okay, now I can leave and do my own thing.
But if you remember in the beginning, like in the season one, when she gave him her resume, like she had been at really good kitchens before, which is, she had gone in culinary school and all that stuff, which is why she was able to open up her catering business. She just didn't run it well, or didn't do well, whatever it was. So it ended up failing. But then, like, she specifically went there to work under Carmy because she knew it was Carmy. And to her, like, he's the best probably chef that she's ever eaten food from. Because she explained that in New York, when she went to eat there, that's the best. Like, like meal that she's ever had, which is why she went there to train under Carmy. So she already kind of had like a good reputable background. And then going under Carmy, and Carmy is already like well known in the culinary world, at least because of everybody that he worked under, and he was in French Laundry and under Joe McHale, and then like all these big chefs or whatever, and then a lot of people that he did work with and that he was coming up with, a lot of them are like well known as well. So Sid being the sous chef to him, it's kind of like it has its own like street cred per se. So which is why she was able to, which is why she got the offer to be the head chef.
But they weren't even fighting this season. Like from what I saw, she just had Daos. Like Daos is the restaurant.
She dropped the fight. That's why I'm saying I don't want her to come back to the restaurant. She just dropped it. There's nothing else for her to fight for. She learned everything that she needed. Yeah. And now for her to grow, she can't be stuck in that same, unless he changes or the restaurant changes, there's nothing more for her to do. She just gave up. She gave up. She just stopped fighting for everything that needed to change. She just let him have his way.
Yeah.
So
and I think the only thing that she has left that she hasn't gotten yet is like his approval of her, like that she's good enough kind of thing. Because like her dishes are like not quite there, like they're still kind of like lacking a little bit. Whenever she makes a suggestion, he still changes like something. He never says, "All right, that's awesome, we'll do that."
Yeah. And I definitely agree with like Sylvia, like the whole idea that if Carmy doesn't change, then that should be the biggest decider. But then here's my question, right? Like we're talking about like bosses that are bitches and a-holes, and like they kind of like traumatize you, kind of, right? But like, if you had the choice to like, you didn't have a choice there. You were given that boss for whatever reason. You were stuck there. But if you had the choice to work under a person that you idolized, that you knew that person was the best in the world in your field and whatever you want to do, but you knew they were a dick, but you knew they were like tough to get along with, would you still do it? Because I think that's still, like Raul said, like that's still her mentality. Like she wants to be with Carmy because that's who she just knows, like was impressed by the most. Yeah. And to me, I mean, obviously that's why the show's so good, because it's like freaking crazy interior, like, inside dilemma that she's dealing with, and Carmy doesn't even notice at this point because he's so stuck in his head in this like weird rut of like, missing Claire, like not being happy and like all this stuff. So I don't know, so fucking good. Like even if we weren't impressed, like this is the stuff that was really great in the season. Like
I do think Carmy having a constantly changing menu, I think that was an excellent idea. I think that was awesome. I think that is what's going to get them like that 5-star review, because then the restaurant that you like, you're going every other week, and it's always like something new that's being served to you, and it's always tastes amazing. So I feel like that was like I don't know. I know that was like a lot of the complaints.
And it's always 250.
Yeah, I know that was a lot of the complaints, but I do feel like that's what's gonna get them that 5-star review.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, to play devil's advocate, that's clearly what was causing the stress in the kitchen, because people couldn't remember. And like I get why that was like such a big deal, but yeah, like in a weird way. And then the whole idea that when they did find out about the review, and they're like, "What plate was it?" And they're like, "The duck plate," and they couldn't even remember what duck plate it was.
Yeah, that's
and then let alone have duck in the kitchen that day, that they had to get John Cena to fucking get the duck. Like, and he never came back. Like, at least not part of the story yet. But
I love all the random, super like random as cameos that they have in this.
I will say the cameos didn't work for me this season. Like I didn't like the fact, because I love John Cena, but I didn't need him to be.
You don't like him
because you didn't see him.
I love John Cena, but yeah, that episode, I think I know what you mean, because he kept like, what was the thing he kept saying to them? Like,
haunt you.
Yeah, haunt me. I didn't get that part, and he kept saying it in that guy's ear until he finally like said what he needed to say, and then he just like it never happened.
Yeah.
Did you guys all get the haunting thing? Because I was gonna ask you, like, I think even Kiara was a little confused at first, because we were like haunting, like for
that's
real,
so random.
Like you gotta be like they were being alive but haunting people, like creating so much like weird bad energy that you're like bothering someone because you're like haunting them while you're alive, and it's like a big joke. It's like a big joke where it's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna haunt you, Sylvia," and then every time like I'm texting, it's like, "I'm haunting you. I'm right behind you," like stuff like this. Where it's like,
I get it now.
It's clearly started when they were kids. Then now everybody's just doing it. So
all the parents or uncles or whoever it was.
Oh yeah, the whole thing, the uncle and the dad had done it to each other. Like, dude, those facts are crazy, man.
Yeah, and then they were smoking. He was smoking. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You can't be smoking. Like, I'm like,
restaurant. Yeah, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you can't do that. That sticks.
As they were taking pictures
Yeah,
for the
like, you think. For next season, I don't know what's gonna happen, but if there is like another season after that, can I pitch you guys an idea?
Yes.
Like real quick. So I do feel like, Ro, you kind of touched on this, but a lot of these chefs, they become like more popular than like life. Like I still, anytime that I'm looking for like anything to cook, especially scrambled eggs, like I always go and look up like a Gordon Ramsay, like making scrambled eggs, even though it's like the most simple things you can make, but I still look at his videos. Would it be cool if in one of the seasons, it could be like the 6th season, like they go to him and it's like, hey, we want to have you in this sort of like reality TV show where you're competing with other restaurants, and that's when you kind of get him to compete against the restaurant, against that one guy that he hates, and possibly even Cindy if she does leave, or is that her name, Cindy?
Sydney,
if she leaves, possibly even her, and all of a sudden you have them all competing on live TV or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like I would like to get that.
I think they're all too big of chefs to compete, because like the ones that compete are the ones that aren't famous, unless it's like Iron Chef.
Like you would get like
Bobby Flay,
right?
That's the different thing. Yeah,
Bobby Flay has
judges and stuff like that. Yeah.
Bobby Flay has a show where like they let the 2 chefs compete, and then whoever wins gets to compete against him, and then he beats them like every time. I'm like, that seems break, but I don't believe this.
I don't know. I feel like maybe, now that he gets all the prestige awards and, it's probably going to win some of these nominations, like let it get a little bit trashy and, make some of that
make it into reality TV.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's why I literally think that next season has to be it, because it's like
Real Chefs of Chicago.
It's such a beautiful show that it's like you would ruin it with more than like a couple more seasons, and a couple more maybe, but they would have to have something crazy creative as to why. But I don't like this whole up and down, and like you said, like the fact that we always see like Jeremy, like freaking lip Carmy never like succeed, frustrates the shit out of you. So it's like, come on, get it together.
Ramon, were you surprised, and Raul, you too, were you surprised that in our last season 2 review, I guess what happened to Claire? Sylvia, if you haven't listened to our, there's a lot of episodes you can listen to that we did before you got into the part of this show, but I really highly recommend that you listen to the Bear season 2, because I think that one is truly special and one of our best review episodes ever. But
that's what you can do in such time speed.
Especially because I'm holding a fork throughout the whole time. But anyways, were you guys surprised that my prediction came true, that Claire sort of drove and landed in the Chicago River, and then we never got to see her again because she's gone now?
Basically, what I'm truly confused about, was she kissing somebody, or was that like, or she was like hugging somebody in one of the scenes, or was that a family member? It was, remember, like there was like one of the scenes that later after that scene, one of the Fact brothers comes out and he's like, I saw Claire Bear last night. And then like in that scene where she actually was, like she was in an apartment with someone like really close to them. And anyways,
yeah. I remember.
Anything having to do with the distance between Carmy and Claire and the unresolved thing, it's what hurt me the most. Like that part of my. That's what I was looking for. And I hate, like, it felt like real life for me, where you just, you fucked up so bad, then all of a sudden you just can't talk to this person because they blocked you everywhere. And trauma. Okay.
What have you done before?
Lots of things. Okay.
For me, it was Cousin and his whole thing with his, like, ex-wife and his daughter and all that stuff.
Oh, that was another cameo.
Let's not get real right now.
Josh Garnett? Yeah, that's another cameo.
Oh, yeah,
Dude, oh, yeah. And, like, I want to like him because it's Josh Hartnett, but I don't like him.
Yeah, I mean he was really nice.
I prefer Pete over him.
Watch him in But Pete was really good this season, even though he took forever to get to the hospital. That was stupid. I mean, I know he was at a conference, and he was at a conference or something like that. Remember, but like,
I don't know. We could have used more Pete. Yeah,
I don't know. He is kind of funny, but at least people were more accepting of him this time around, so it was good.
I didn't even realize he was an attorney.
On people.
Yeah,
I never minded Pete. Same for Richie too. I think he did a really good job with finding out that she was engaged and like getting married. I think he took that pretty well. And fun fact, actually, he calls his daughter Żabka at one point, which means froggy in Polish, and that's what Polish parents call their little kids at one point. So I thought, it's like froggy, like my little frog. Żabka.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying mijo in Spanish.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
So we're
it's
not
cute.
Yeah. Well,
sapito, my little sapito. What's up?
Well, Rich is definitely hook up with that other girl, right? Like, I mean, I feel like I see it coming a mile away.
Something happened between them.
Yeah, Richie and that other girl that works in
like the like from the other restaurant.
I don't know if she's
the
girl that was in Parenthood.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, Claire, I did not really like her too much.
I didn't
care for her. I did not. I really don't care for her.
I do not like Claire at all.
No, she stalked him. He gave her the wrong phone number, and she still went out of her way to get the correct phone number. She's just weird. She was weird. It's okay because she's
attractive, and that's why we guys said, no, she's not even attractive. I don't even think she's attractive. No. I'm not shaming anybody. I just don't think she's attractive.
Remember, I sat there and I advocated for her so much because I love Claire. The whole, like, to help you understand at least why I love Claire, it's everything having to do from their child, like their forever, like history, from their history. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's meant to be like the one character that really humbles him.
Sometimes history is history.
But not sometimes though. Not sometimes. Like sometimes.
Man, let it go, man.
I mean,
the moment she went out of her way to get the correct number, I already didn't like her. That is too much work. One, never chase a man. That's advice from woman to woman to any woman. Never chase a man. If he doesn't give you the number, don't even ask for the number. That's his job.
I mean, just the fact that the Fact brothers went to the hospital. I mean, that even ruins things even more, right? Just like that doesn't make it like compelling for her to be like, oh, hey, you obviously still miss me. Like, no, that to me that made it even worse.
I don't know. I think their relationship's deeper. It's not a surface. Again, if they would have just met like for real in the season like that year, it would have been a whole different story. But it's the history. Like without that, like it's like having a childhood friend or a childhood crush, and then years later you're finally like more adult. You have your shit figured out, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, what the fuck happened to us? Like, why didn't we ever try this? And the next thing you know, there you are, you're trying it, and it's good. And it's like
all of my childhood best friends are best friends. They're my brothers.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's
Dude,
that's what I'm saying. It's different.
Anytime that I look at somebody that I used to have a crush on, or they wouldn't look my way, and I look at them now, I'm like, yep, like
too good for you.
Yeah, I'm like obviously, it's one of those things where it's just, once people get out of high school, they just change, and
maybe I was just
or they commit murder on their husband.
Is that one of your classmates?
Just crazy people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. The history has to do a lot, but I don't know. Some people are just a little more romantic than others, in the sense of like hopeless romantics, and you will for always love somebody.
Maybe so it's not just history, it's their story.
Oh, their story?
Maybe it's not history, it's their story. Like their story.
Oh, that's cute, but that's probably true.
No, the moment she went on screen, I didn't like her, and then just all of the little things that she was doing, it made me not like her even more.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, do you want to talk about the episode, Ramon? I think in the beginning you mentioned how you really liked the episode where she was giving birth and you thought it was again. Yeah. I mean, you if you tell me about it, it'll probably be like I didn't even watch the episode because I definitely wasn't paying attention.
No, I mean,
Dude, and I love Jamie Curtis. I love her, but I just think what she was given wasn't like shoot.
So one, I mean, I'm going through like a whole new world experience for myself, and then my wife is pregnant, so it's like watching it with her was something because it's building us with anxiety of just the overall like labor, like pregnancy, all that stuff, right? And then the fact that again, fucking stuck in traffic, stuck in fucking traffic. Like I was I'm terrified of that idea. Like, and we had talked about that of just what happens if you're like stuck in traffic or you're in another state and then you got to do this. But anyways. I like the episode a lot just because I like fucked up and I love family problems as much as I don't for myself because that's literally why I am the way I am. Is just, but in this show where I get to live through these people and still distance myself from the hurt and the emotional like freaking dependency and lack of just comfort. I love the fact that you finally saw Jamie Lee Curtis as the mother figure, but at the same time, she was not a great mother figure in the sense that she was making it about herself. So then, like, the whole time you were, like, getting the stress the fuck out. And then she would stress you so much. She would stress you out so much because of how, like, erratic she was about, this is my experience. Well, this is blah, blah, blah. Suck it up.
Manic.
And then she would change it to be like, but I love you and you're the sweetest. And it was like, dude, my heart and my anxiety was back and forth birth with like this like cringe, and then all of a sudden I'm like, and then cringe, and I'm like, and then
Dude.
this, I love experiencing, like I loved experiencing that in the episode, and I think that's why it was good for me, because it was just being stuck in that mentality of like being like disattached from a fam, or especially a parent member, and having that little bit of connection, and then kind of being ripped away within the same conversation, like that's what it was. It had been frustrating, but at the end they somewhat reconnected a little, right? And now it's going to change the dynamic for everybody, because she's there now.
Honestly, she didn't seem as crazy as they made her in the past, and maybe it's something about like, just I feel like when people talk about their moms,
I think she's sober.
Maybe that might have been the reason, but I just feel like, like even my mom, like, I love her to death, she loves me, but it's just like sometimes moms are meant to like take jabs at you or like little shots at you, and it's like, damn, like they don't realize how like these little shots hurt so much, and this is like, you don't stop. You're like, think about it. Like, like I recently was made a godfather. I knew before anybody in my family knew. I knew before like my mom knew. I knew before like this other person knew. And my mom's like, oh yeah, the other day I was talking to her, and she's just like, they only made you like, she didn't say it like this, but the way it sounded, it was like, they made you a godfather because they needed a male person to be a godfather because it couldn't be two girls. So like to her, like I'm like, she doesn't realize that you just told me like if it could have been two women, I wouldn't even be part of it. But the fact that they needed a man, the person
they didn't really want you, they like settled for you.
Yeah, like the person that shows me doesn't have like 50 other male figures in their life. That like I was just like they were so desperate that it had to be like me. And this is like that's the kind of shit.
Exist.
That's the
you
kind
are
of shit
the only man.
I'm still thinking about like 7 days later. This is like, oh my god, like why do moms do these smaller things to you?
Yeah, dude, I bawled in this episode. Like I saw like one I feel bad for Sugar just because of like everything that she, like all the trauma that she has, and so much of who she is because of the trauma of like growing up with like this alcoholic mom, and then seeing Jamie Lee Curtis, like she looked old. Dude, she played that part beautifully, and then just the fact that I saw so much of my mom in her, like in that moment, and it was just like, dude, it hit me hard, and I was like, damn, this episode, like I legit cried. I'm so glad that like I saw it by myself, but like nobody around, because then my sister probably would have cried with me or something. I don't know.
You can do, if next time you want to watch something with other people, Ro, you can connect to the Discord and watch like an episode of something on the Discord. People can join you if you want to do that.
Well, I don't care about shows.
He wants people to see you cry.
Oh.
No, I just want shared experiences with movies, because after I watch a movie, like I want to talk about it, and I can just like be like oh blah 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 blah. Blah blah.
I mean, but it's like, but I love that you say that too, because I think that hits the point of like the idea that, I don't know, maybe you need, I told this to someone before, because we're talking about people who don't enjoy TV or people who don't enjoy movies. And I was like, I'm always trying to like figure that out for people. Not that I'm trying to be like, you need to watch TV. Like, I don't even watch that much TV if you really think about it. But it's like, I love watching movies and shows that really connect with you because of your personal like experience, or things that you love and things that you fantasize about that you really want to wish that you could like on screen for you to like see finally, right? But like I told someone, I'm like, I think what makes a difference sometimes is your family history, your trauma, like your childhood. And not saying that you need to have a shitty childhood to enjoy all these things, but then there is shows that if you had a shitty childhood, or you had like even a rocky relationship with your like parents or one of your parents, it's enough to make it a whole different show for you. And I think like that's where we relate a lot when we have like daddy issue shows and movies and plots that have to do with
parenting
shows, anything. I mean, I think
that shows or random other things that you relate to personally.
Exactly. And it's beautiful. And I think when we deal about, I'm not saying my parents were the crazy, maybe not one of them wasn't the craziest ones, but there's always something to like really connect with. And I think like Raul, you said, it's like, and Carlos, even your story goes to show you like there is things that we probably resent that we don't think about, because along the way we're probably a little bit luckier than we could have been. And if it was worse, we would have been like, fuck that bitch, I hated that episode because like who would do that? And but it's different for everybody.
Dude, Yeah, I mean, another person that we haven't talked about that lost his mom was Marcus. I mean, in this whole
Marcus.
season, and I did like how Sugar, against like when the computer suggested that like they need to get rid of him because what is he really doing? She's like, "Do not touch Marcus. I will freaking strangle you."
Do we
You
need
co-
a pastry chef?
He
Like,
makes
yes.
2 desserts. He gets paid his salary for 2 desserts. And that's it.
It's like I known you since blah blah blah. You coach my little kids. Like I will freaking show. Dude, I thought that was because nobody knew who the computer was. It was kind of nice for like Sugar to be like, I known you my whole life. Like, do not make me kill you.
No. I don't know.
That was a cool character, the computer.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny too because like he kind of threw me off a little bit, but then I like what he meant for the show. Like that's the series. That's like the on paper. Like if you're not doing better, you're done. And I think that was like it. But yeah, that was a pretty funny moment with that.
Yeah.
With Natalie and him.
Yeah.
And Ramon, for that episode too, it's funny that you said your thing about, you know, past traumas and like your family and everything, because now I'm rethinking about that episode of Sugar giving birth, and that is what my mom would be like 10 years ago. Her and I have finally rekindled our relationship, so it's so much better, and I know she would be there for me, kind of more of the, here's some ice cubes for you, versus the, you know, right when Sugar was walking in, she came up to her and she just immediately went, well, I walked, you know, while I was in labor and I was fine, so you're going to be okay.
Barefoot uphill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I
In the
could see
snow.
10 years ago, she would tell me the same exact thing. Like, it was worse for me. It can't be worse for you. But now it would be very much so. It's all about you, whatever you need.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
it's interesting. Now I might have to rewatch that episode because I'm seeing it from a different perspective now.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you gonna watch it in normal speed?
I watched this one
She
in
watched
normal
it in
speed,
normal speed.
yeah.
She watched the whole show in normal speed.
Yeah.
The whole
Not
show.
the whole show. Not the
Oh.
whole show.
Just
Yeah.
episode?
No.
Which one didn't you watch in normal speed so I could see what you missed? And if you missed anything, no, you don't have to. But
I know the first episode I definitely did not watch in
That was
normal
so
speed.
cool,
I
yeah.
think I did 3 times speed on that one. I didn't even do
Oh my
2 times
God.
speed.
You're-
I'll be honest.
You know, I've been wanting to
No
say
wonder
like,
you didn't like it.
we us three, Ramon, like you, me, and Ro, we should challenge ourselves to watch one episode of something and then just talk about how it felt to watch it in 3 times
2 times
speed, or no, 2 or 3.
I watch Rick and Morty that way.
I thought you were talking about a completely different thing. I was getting ready to like party watch The Whale, and I thought you were gonna say let's watch something sad and see how much we cry together.
Oh my God, I haven't seen The Whale. Because for that
I'm
reason.
not invited.
Now
It's
you
not
are.
included. That way
Wait,
you can ball your eyes out.
So none of you guys have watched The Whale?
I have not.
No.
Because there's no way to
No,
stream
you
it.
guys-
That says streaming anywhere. Yeah.
That sucks. That movie made me cry so fucking much. Like it's probably the movie that made me cry the most out of any movie.
Have
that
you
I
seen
can ever think
Instructions
of.
Not Included?
Yeah, but like it wasn't as
Oh,
much.
you
as
should
that.
watch it now that you're gonna have a baby.
Well, that's
Have-
different. Maybe
have you
let me have the
seen?
baby.
Have you seen the Mugen Train? Alright.
Yeah, dude, watch The Whale, and
Yeah.
then. But no, I thought you were going. I thought you were going in that direction of like,
No.
let's watch something
Just-
to see who like can.
I just
relate
want to
the most.
see, I
No,
just wanna
yeah.
see how our interpretation of something at that speed, if we can even
Might change
comprehend.
Spirited Away in 2 times speed. See if it hits as hard.
Oh my God! No, it has to be like a. You gotta like start me slow with like a 30-minute episode of something.
If they are all 30 minutes. After with 2 times speed, everything's 30 minutes.
Oh my God! You're insane. Dude.
I can watch a whole movie in half an hour. I don't know what you mean.
Watch Lord of the Rings.
I just feel like
Oh,
2 times
you
speed.
know what?
that would actually.
You know what?
I love Lord of the Rings. That would be actually awesome.
Yo,
Great.
but when the Rings of Power came out, I rewatched all the movies, and oh my goodness,
They're
sometimes I'm
great.
like, no, yes,
They're
but
long.
but they're long. And you're like, hurry.
Well, you
That's
know
gonna
what
be my
happened.
next thing. I think I'm gonna watch that in 2 times speed. I think I just watched the first 2 movies of Lord of the Rings. I'm slowly working on it.
That's one you
Prince of
might-
Towers.
I feel like that's one you might
Mhm.
miss a little on. I think Harry Potter would be a better one, like 2 times speed.
Ooh,
Because at least that's a
Mhm.
little bit
entertaining.
more like, it's more entertaining,
get-
like you said.
I get-
That'd be kind of funny.
Okay. I get bored in Harry Potter just on normal speed, so I don't know if like I even
2
want to
times
watch.
speed, you can't get bored.
Dude, I've never finished the last movie of Harry
The
Potter.
Hollow part
Oh,
too,
wow.
I've never finished it.
Yeah.
2-night, 20-hour binge before we went to Universal Studios like last or 2 years ago. For that reason, and that was the first time that I watched them all like in such short proximity.
Yeah.
I still feel the same. I'm just like, but it was a great time at the parks, and it was great knowing everything again and being like refreshed. But
I think I was the only human being that liked those Fantastic Beasts movies.
No, those were good. I like new. What's his name?
Like everybody hated them. They didn't make any money. Failed the whole franchise. But I enjoy them. So I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna watch the Harry Potter show?
The reboot, yeah.
Oh, the remake.
Oh,
Yeah. As a show.
Might as well watch Mashal.
I like it.
I loved Mashal.
Yeah, no,
I
we're
do
gonna be talking about that one. But I mean,
I will say Demon Slayer, I think, is my number one, though. I've thoroughly been enjoying that one.
We'll talk about
that
one next week.
Is it your favorite anime so far? Like
so far,
overall?
yeah. Yes,
Tanjiro's great, man. He cannot be like a better leading character as Tanjiro. Yeah.
He's the bestest guy ever.
I feel like each season I've had moments of crying because it just really hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Deku's kind of there next to Tanjiro, but not Tanjiro all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Tanjiro better than Deku. I like Deku, but
Tanjiro's the overall bestest guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The best person in all of anime.
I mean,
10 out of 10. Would trust him if I was drunk.
Okay. You know what? He wouldn't trust you though, because once he takes off that shirt, that man is built like a rock.
They're all so built, and they're like 12. I don't get it.
They have to. They have to prove to be able to do those moves. They have to be like so freaking
to
strong.
move rocks.
Basically, break boulders.
There is kids like that though.
Sylvia, did you know? And maybe I might blow your mind here, but did you know when they do like their flame attacks or water attacks, they're not actually doing they're not summoning elements. It's like that doesn't really exist. If you were to see it,
just an anime thing that they.
It's just an anime thing that they show for the show.
In the manga.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just the knife. It's
just
the
a move. It's the name of the move. But
they're naming the move something. Okay,
they're naming the move.
There's no water splashing, no fire splashing.
So are they actually doing the breathing then? Because he keeps talking about like the sun dance and everything.
Yeah, they're doing the breathing.
That's still okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the manga, you don't see like all the crazy animation.
No.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, that's like one
the
of the few
animation is amazing. It's beautiful.
I know. It's the best animated show I think I've seen of all animes.
Oh, man.
Wait till you watch the last episode of this season, Sylvia. Then tell us how good animation is.
Can't wait.
I mean, it's up to you guys
close.
Next week we can talk about Demon Slayer or The Boys, whatever you guys want. Because I think that was in the polls that we did on our Discord channel. So definitely one of those.
Isn't the new Wolverine movie coming out too?
Deadpool? Yeah.
The 20-something though.
Next week for sure.
So in 2 weeks.
I mean, if we all check it out, we can try to watch talk about that soon enough. But
in 2 weeks we'll review.
2 weeks.
Well,
Deadpool, Wolverine.
I do want to say that honestly, talking to you guys, because whether I planned to in the beginning or not, was able to kind of talk to you about some of my stressful moments in life or some of the stressful things that I've dealt with this week. So it's definitely, I think you guys were cheaper than going to a therapist and trying to put my laundry out there. It was just so much better, and I actually feel a lot better just from talking to you guys. So sort of the bear is just kind of by the time I was done with it, you guys it kind of left me in a good spot, man. I'm at a good spot right now.
Good. Good.
I'm glad I talked to you guys too. Yeah, it's also been a stressful couple of weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. Oh yeah, Raul and I were both gone last week.
Yeah. Fighting all those demons.
No, I don't. Sylvia was working 16 hours, but yeah, it's crazy.
Were you really
I've been working 8 to 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have my work laptop. I was actually working up until 8-ish, I want to say. I took my computer home to finish some things,
we don't know it, but Sylvia's actually Ashley from The Voice. That's a wig she's wearing, her actual hair.
Yeah, that's why the hair color changed. It's not, it's just the wig. I just ripped it all out.
Oh, man. That's funny. But all right. Well, I mean, is there any closing thoughts on The Bear? Do you guys want to leave off? I know, sorry if the season would have been strong and I felt hey, we could just, we would have talked from the beginning, but I do feel what we did say about it, it was, I told you my negatives and my positives, and I do expect the next season to be a lot much better, and I do blame the writer's strike, whether it's responsible or not. That's where I'm gonna say to myself, the writer's strike was probably the reason why this season wasn't as strong as it could have been.
The only other thing too that we haven't mentioned is the what's his name, the uncle, but that's not really an uncle.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Sister Jimmy.
Cicero, yeah,
Cicero,
Jimmy.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm really interested to see what's happening because apparently he's broke,
Yeah.
which is why he's kind of pressuring the restaurant to work. So I want to see kind of what's gonna happen because he seems kind of like sketchy with his business a little bit.
Yeah, we don't
So
know much about
I want to
it.
see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago.
Well, with the
businessman.
understanding right now is that he would give him like the land to the restaurant if the restaurant was to fail. So, in the restaurant, I think
Yeah.
the land was worth $4 million. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, but the way that it is now, I think he's put like over 2 million in.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep. Because I
That's
think
crazy.
what with
Mentioned at one
Carmy
point,
was
yeah.
like $500,000 or something,
Yeah.
or more even, and then his brother. Yeah.
It's funny because
Mm.
in high school I used to read the Chicago Tribune and I would kind of like look over like the restaurant stuff. I never really like fully read a review, but I would just kind of see like what the stars were. Like, oh, 4 stars, 5 stars. I never actually read like I couldn't even tell you what a review of a restaurant would sound like if I read it.
No.
It sounds pretty pretentious.
Could you give me a little like glimpse into it? Like how? Give me like a one sentence of what I would find.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, I mean, great way to end it. We didn't talk about that. I hated how they made it. Oh my god! At the end of the season,
The
how they did
cliffhanger.
the review, right? The review, the flashes to the words,
Oh
but
yeah.
every other word was positive, negative, positive, negative,
Yeah,
negative,
Mhm.
positive,
Yeah,
negative,
I swear it's
positive.
gonna be a mixed review. It's gonna be a mixed review.
Mhm.
And I just
This
remember
was
being like,
of the yelling in the kitchen.
So I looked it up when it first happened, and somebody out there did a great job at sort of like trying to put them together. So I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a positive one. If I had to put my money on it, I think it's gonna be like a
well, I
5-star
mean,
one. Yeah.
like you said, it would suck if it was negative. And also, like, why would it be negative? Like, he's still an amazing fucking chef. Like, the
Yeah.
only way that they could have gotten like a mixed review is the atmosphere, right? Like being kind of crazy and chaotic.
Yeah.
But other than that, the food had to been amazing.
Can I just mention the time how like hilarious it was when Fack brought out the soup, and then
he brought it back.
the Carmy special, the whatever soup being
Dude,
poured in front of you, and then he pours the water into it, and then he just takes everything with him.
I
It was
thought that was it.
What
I
is
thought
that?
Dude, I thought that was like the dish. I'm like, oh, okay, like yeah, obviously that's the dish because it's like
Yeah,
a
you just
fancy.
experienced somebody pouring water into the soup or whatever. I forgot what it
You
was.
paid for the aroma.
For the
Ah.
experience of watching somebody pour water. Dude, like I'm
Water.
sure some restaurants do that though.
Well, dude,
I thought it was hilarious. I just busted open.
I could see myself
Laughing.
going to like a 5-star restaurant there and coming out disappointed because sometimes I feel like you come out hungry. Like you go in there like
Well,
hungry
yeah.
and
They
then
have
you
very small
it
servings. Yeah.
sucks. Like
No,
like
no,
dude, I would be
but they have
pissed.
like 12 but they have like 12 different like courses
Dishes,
or
yeah.
15 courses, yeah.
Mhm.
Dude, for example, Chicago has a 3-star 3 Michelin star restaurant, and the head chef of that place was actually in the episode when with all the chefs.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy that what's the name was talking to forever that he was just admiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oh my god, I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
but
Yeah,
the guy was just
Adam
ignoring.
Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, why am I so awkward? Why did I say this so much?
Well, yeah. So that guy, so his restaurant, like is known for like its art. Like they are super artistic with their dishes. They have like giant sugar bubbles. They have like a board with like sauces and stuff. That's pretty much like abstract art. That's what they're known for, and it's crazy like that. So some of these restaurants go crazy with like foams and random like dry ice and all this stuff that like I wouldn't be surprised if like one of the things is like they're gonna pour water into the mirepoix or whatever that's called, and that's what
That's
you do.
it.
You watch it, yeah. Or if you watch the movie with I forgot what it was called with Anya Taylor-Joy,
The
Yeah, the
menu.
menu, yeah.
Nicole, the menu, like
That-
that's a good movie.
That's how
It's
I
an
feel.
interesting
Like
movie.
I would have been like, I'm still hungry. Like I want a burger.
But that's what I got from all this. You talking about that food, I keep thinking of burger because of that movie. Always
Yeah.
will be thinking about a burger. I'm like, nope, I'll take a burger. Yep,
That's funny.
With Anya Taylor-Joy, I'll do it. I'll eat
Yeah.
anything with her.
on a boat.
Yeah.
I found the Carlos. I found when you were talking about just putting in all
Oh,
the
yeah, put it
words
together?
that they found. Yeah, so it's very up and down, like you said.
Crazy.
because they're saying
Frustrating.
confusion, there's apprehension, but then that it's also a true culinary gem. So interesting.
Yeah.
I wish they had a better, or I wish they showed us. I wish they ended the cliffhanger with the article just there in front of you.
Yeah.
I think
Or at least
next,
the title of the review.
well, the one thing about
just
the
can't-
bear that's kind of crazy is like every year, like it just takes like 1 year and it's like it's available already. Like so next year, probably same time as always, June, it'll be like no drops. It's
I hate that they drop all the episodes at once.
no,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I'd be okay with like 2 episodes a week, maybe 3, but I don't know.
I think Prime does it the best. Like they'll give you 3 right away, and then the rest is like a week at a time.
Weekly, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do it the best.
I just can't wait till he's like, surprise, and it's a little bear. Just kind of
Controlling
his
it.
hair.
Rat-sized bear.
All
Yep.
right. Well, we're gonna leave it there, and we're gonna for sure Photoshop a bear into your top of your head, Ramon. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.
Bye.
Vaya con Dios.